everyone and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing really well. This will be a quick fire crypto update from across the markets, as well as some Hedera specific news, of course. Now, recently the sentiment throughout the crypto markets has been absolutely abysmal, and that is being reflected in the crypto fear and greed index, which of course is effectively a KPI of multifactorial sentiment analysis from across the space as a whole. We are currently at a 40, and I think the coin market cap version of this particular indicator, which they copied recently, is somewhere in the 30s region. Looking at the max time frame of this particular indicator, still potentially a long way to go if we are going to sweep the lows, which many people are talking about, in terms of that we'll see crypto fear and greed index ratings as low as single digits or, very, very low teens to early tens. What this of course means though, and I'm sure many of you have realized it, is the amount of content and news and mentions around the cryptocurrency space have been very, very sparse over the last few weeks, if not months. And part of that as well is because September is traditionally a really, really bad month for not only equities, but of course, things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, purely as well because of the correlation between the assets. October, though, is usually historically fairly bullish for equities, and again, by extension, Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets. We've got CryptoCon here, though, saying potentially it's November that will bring the turnaround we need according to our performance since the halving dates. To be precise, somewhere around the middle to end of November. The local tops have lined up so far as well, and now we know what's scheduled in terms of price for a long sideways period, possibly a little bit more downside. Both previous halving cycles have launched at the exact same time, 2 more months of accumulation, and then potentially we start to see that slow climb towards the upside that we have seen in the past. Now, of course, this could actually align quite well as well with macro sentiment and news. For example, the United States, potentially we're looking at one of the final rate hikes of this particular cycle that we'll be seeing from the Federal Reserve, and then that will trickle out throughout the global economy as well. So we could see a perfect storm moving in. I have said more recently over the last quarter or so, 3-4 months, that potentially as well looking at Hedera as a more particular example could be very well suited to see a lot of price action in Q1 of 2024 if, and this is a big if, we do see the timelines get maintained and we see those community nodes go live. As soon as we see those community nodes go live, we completely abolish all of the fear, uncertainty, or doubt regarding Hedera as being, or referred to as, a centralized project. Of course, as soon as those community nodes go live, we can really, really fully silence those that talk about it not being decentralized. Of course, would be incredibly bullish for the price action of that as well. Quick fun fact though, for all of those of you that are still holding throughout this bear market, which I hope majority of you are, as I've said in many of the sort of 100 or so, 200 videos I think I posted on this channel, you need to know what you hold effectively, and you have to have that kind of risk tolerance. And if you don't, then you're probably overinvested. But fun fact, less than 5% of the global population are still currently invested in cryptocurrency. And that is what I talk about an awful lot as well when we look at future prices of the projects that we hold and believe in, that the cryptocurrency space in terms of market cap and the amount of money flowing around will continue to increase. It's no good just projecting prices based off of the current market caps that we see today, because the market caps over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, as more and more institutions and retail from across the globe get involved, will continue to increase. That's effectively what this is all about. Not only that, as we're talking about institutions, JPMorgan Chase is developing a blockchain-based digital deposit token to speed up cross-border payments. So when we're looking at cryptocurrencies in general, they really will be shaping the future of infrastructure and technology for things like payment systems and tokenization going forward, due to the frictionless services they really do offer. And you have to look no further than projects, of course, like Hedera, in terms of the breadth and scope of what can be achieved via building decentralized applications on the Hedera token service, combined with the Hedera consensus service. It is a complete powerhouse. Of course, we've got Atma.io and also things like Kia and Hyundai as well. Hyundai, I should say. Many of you berate me for saying it that way. Hyundai, in terms of the throughput that we could potentially see once that use case goes live. Some interesting news here though from the hbar Foundation in terms of that they are excited to announce Legends of Past, a free-to-play Web3 mobile game created by ex-AAA gaming studio Figures, will be coming to the Hedera network. Built by ex-Ubisoft, Supercell and Tap for Fun employees, the mobile game will leverage the Hedera token service for both in-game item tokenization and to create the 𝗟𝗚 token used to help drive parts of the in-game economy. Learning from the mistakes of early Web3 play-to-earn games models, 𝗟𝗚 has a deep focus on both gameplay and tokenomics, ensuring that the in-game economy is sustainable and built for longevity rather than a boom and bust hype cycle, which I'm guessing is potentially talking about the likes of Axie Infinity. Created by gamers, the 𝗟𝗚 universe is built from the ground up with gamers in mind, collating the experience of industry veterans to deliver fresh and unique gaming experiences to attract a Web 2 mass audience. And of course, this is how as well majority of the movement we're going to be seeing now into the cryptocurrency space is going to come from. It's going to come from literally people believing it's a Web 2 application and not even realizing that they are already in the Web 3 ecosystem. It needs to be that frictionless to the point of where the users themselves actually have no idea that what's happening behind the scenes is based on cryptocurrency technology. That is how you achieve mass adoption, and that is what Hedera and a lot of the decentralized applications are striving for. Look at how Hashpack has been angling itself recently in terms of onboarding, as well as a lot of the different applications that we've seen from enterprises being built on top of Hedera. They are angling for that. We are just the plumbing behind the scenes, i.e. Hedera is the plumbing behind the scenes, and the customer on the other side of it has no idea. Which, when you actually think about it, that's how majority of us live our lives when we interact with things nowadays. If you process a payment in your traditional banking app or you sign into a particular application, none of you are thinking, what the hell is building this or running this behind the scenes? You just know it works and it works well. And that is what we are starting to see happen on Hedera. In terms of decentralized finance then, of course, they go hand in hand on Hedera with SourceSwap. TVL grows SourceSwap in relation to the broader DeFi market. We've been seeing leaps and bounds effectively for the growth of SourceSwap in comparison to the other DeFi protocols, currently sitting at 40 or rank 40 of all DEXs from across the cryptocurrency space. And I do believe this will continue to grow as well. We have seen massive developments over the last 12 to 18 months for decentralized finance on Hedera. And of course, SourceSwap positioning themselves right at the center of that, being the price oracle of everything on the hash graph. Right then, the pretty meat and bones of this particular video though is the Toko network has secured an operating license approval from Dubai's Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, also known as VARA. This emphasizes the tokenization platform's firm's commitment to operating with transparency, accountability, and regulatory compliance. In addition, Toko Network as well has announced a strategic partnership with VirtuZone UAE to launch Dubai's first tokenized equity crowdfunding platform, transforming private equity fundraising using Web3 for both investors and businesses alike. Toko tokenize everything. Of course, everything can be tokenized on Hedera. We've seen it with Aberdeen as well, with a lot of financial instruments and investments, and we're starting to see this happen now clearly with Toko as they're pushing forward their use case they are striving to build. We're excited to see how these significant milestones bring value to the Hedera ecosystem, to Web 3.0 as a whole, and emerging digital economies as Toko Network continues on their mission to democratize finance via tokenization. And of course, this is a major industry which will be worth trillions going out into the future. So the larger market share effectively that Hedera can capture now sees very well into the future for things like notoriety of the platform continuing to be used for the likes of tokenization. Here as well on the platform, I'm not going to read through this as it effectively goes into a little bit more detail from the summarization, but I will try and leave it linked down in the description. But effectively, Toko is remaining committed to improving that access to DeFi, as well as reshaping the virtual asset management landscape via cutting-edge technology, regulatory compliance as well, going hand in hand alongside that user-centric approach that I was just speaking about 3 minutes ago. By operating as a regulated virtual asset broker-dealer though, Toko will be paving the way for responsible innovation and setting new standards for the virtual asset industry. This is something to be very bullish about. Anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Like I said, slightly shorter format than I would normally do, but at the moment there isn't a ton of news flying around in the cryptocurrency space. Of course, I am always active on other socials. I do try and respond to as many comments as I possibly can, so if you've got some, feel free to check them down in the description. Always feel free to like as well and subscribe to be notified about my future uploads. Until then, I'll catch you soon. Cheers.